Hi there, my name's Anne, I'm from Ditsy Pips, and today I'm going to show you how to make a chain if you're crocheting right-handed, and I'm going to show you the classic crochet hold. So, the very first thing that we need to do is we need to fasten our yarn onto our crochet hook. There's a couple of different ways of doing this. The most common way is to do it with a slip knot. And to make a slip knot, you take your two ends of yarn, so you've got your tail end over to the right and your ball end over to the left, and you cross those two lengths of yarn over like that to form a loop. Now just pinch the cross point, and then we're going to take the ball end of yarn and we're just going to poke part of the ball end of yarn up through that loop, and the loop that makes just here, this is where we're going to insert your crochet hook. So you take your hook, slide it into there, and then pull on both ends, and there's your knot. And because it's a slip knot, it slides up and tightens really easily. So this is probably the traditional way of starting off, is with a slip knot like this. And slip knots do exactly what they say on the tin. So they get bigger and they get smaller depending on which tail of yarn you pull. The downside to a slip knot, if you've never crocheted before, is that you can find when you're first starting out that you concentrate really hard, and if that happens you might accidentally end up pulling the loop on your hook really tight. Now what you have to do to make a stitch is you have to be able to pull your crochet hook out of that loop, and that can be a little bit tricky if your loop is really tight. So if you're finding that really difficult, the alternative is to actually start with a double knot instead of a slip knot. And to do that, take your crochet hook and we're going to tie a knot. So tail end, ball end, cross them over and tie a knot just like you would do with shoelaces around your hook. So there's one knot, and we're going to tie a second one. So cross them over and through, and there's your double knot. That gives us a loop on the hook, and you want a loop that allows you to see a little bit of fresh air between the hook and the knot just there, and it slides nice and easily up and down your crochet hook. It does give you a slightly larger knot, so you may well find when you're feeling a bit more confident that you actually want to revert to a slip knot, but it will mean that this first loop doesn't change size. So if that very first stitch was causing you problems, it's worth just giving a double knot a try. Now, when it comes to holding your crochet hook, there's different ways of holding your crochet hook. There's different ways of holding your yarn. There isn't really a right and wrong answer about how you should be doing it. It's however it feels comfortable for you. I'm right-handed, I hold my crochet hook in my right hand like this, and sometimes I put this finger out just to help guide my stitches. It's also possible some people crochet holding their hook like this, and that's absolutely fine too. Today I'm going to show you the classic crochet hold. So this is what you'll see in a lot of traditional crochet books, but it's not the only way of holding your yarn. So if this doesn't work for you, please don't worry. You go over your little finger, under your ring finger, and over the top of the next two fingers. And then we're going to take your middle finger and your thumb, and you're going to pinch. This is the loose tail end of yarn here. You're going to pinch that loose tail end of yarn with your left hand right underneath the knot, just there. So we've gone over the little finger, under the fourth finger, over the top of the next two fingers, and pinched middle finger and thumb just right underneath the knot just here. This gives us a length of yarn here that we're going to work along. Your index finger needs to be pointed a little bit upwards. It doesn't have to be way up here. You'll find you'll have a little bit more control if it's not quite so high, but just pointed a little bit upwards so that you have a length of yarn here that you can work across. Now we're going to make a chain, and a chain works a little bit like casting on in knitting. It gives us the foundation that we're going to work our first row of stitches into. To make that chain, you bring your crochet hook, you bring it round towards yourself, underneath the yarn, and grab the yarn over the top from behind, like that. And then all we do is we slide the hook through the loop that's already on it here. So you just slide it backwards until it comes through. And there we've made our first chain. We're going to do another one. So we bring the yarn round towards yourself, underneath the yarn, grab it from the top at the back, and slide it back through this loop on the hook. Like that. And let's do another one. So we come towards yourself, underneath the yarn, and grab it, slide it back through the loop on your hook. We've got 3 here. Let's do another one. Round towards yourself, grab it, and slide. Now, your hook position will make a really big difference as to how easy you find it to make this stitch. If you can see the neck of your hook, so this point here where your hook gets narrower, if you can see this when you're making your stitch, that's a really good angle for your hook to be at to make the chain. So we come round, keep looking at the neck there like that, and slide it back through here. If you've rotated your hook so that you can't see the neck anymore, and you're either looking at the front face of your hook like this, or you've rotated it so that you're looking at the back of the hook like that, then you're going to find it much harder to pull through. So I'll show you what I mean. You come round, grab the yarn, and let's rotate the hook a little bit forward so you're looking at the face of it. When you go to pull through, it'll get caught and it'll get stuck. So we need to just turn it back downwards and pull it through that way. And there's our stitch. And we come round underneath, grab it and pull back through. And here we have our chain. Now, if you can see here, the front face of our chain looks like a series of interlocking V's. So we have a V that goes into a V that goes into a V and all the way down there. If you need to count your chains, you can count each V. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 on the end here, right by the knot. The alternative way of counting them is actually to count the bumps across the top. So the one on your hook never counts as a stitch. Your first one is just here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The chain has quite a distinctive front and a back to it, so the front will look flat and you'll be able to see the V's. If we turn it over, you'll be able to see that there is a third row of bumps that runs down the middle across the back, almost like a spine running down the middle. This row of bumps just here. If you can see that spine, you're looking at the back of your chain. You want to try and keep the front of your chain facing you, if you can do, because that will then stop it from getting twisted. And if you, when you're making your chains, move your pinch, keep it nice and close underneath your crochet hook. So we make a couple of chains and then move your pinch up, and then make another chain and move your pinch up. If you keep moving it up at regular intervals every chain or two, then you'll find that the chain keeps the same tension all the way through and that you won't end up with a twist in it. And now on the next video, I'm going to show you how to work stitches into the chain. So thank you for watching. Bye bye.